Another Tracking Bitcoin episode. So, as you can see straight off the bat, we have got some bullish momentum coming through in the markets in the last day or two, which has got everyone excited, myself included. However, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. I can hear some wild projections to the upside coming out, and like I said, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. So we're just gonna be patient and see what happens first. Now, kicking things off on the weekly time frame, obviously we've got our eyes on this prior weekly support level, which was broken and now turned resistance. Now, currently, price is actually trading back above it. However, with 1 day and 6 hours until the closure, we can't actually base our decisions off of it just yet, because anything can happen, and in that amount of time, we could be down at 30K in that small amount of time. It's very unlikely, but I'm more emphasizing the point that where price is at now has no correlation or meaning of where it may be somewhere in the future. Okay, so we've always got to wait for the candle closures as a confirmation before jumping in. However, that being said, it does look quite nice, and we are trading back above. So now that resistance has, if we can sustain, can now turn support and act as a floor for it to continue higher from. So jumping down to the daily time frame, I've got a little bit of structure drawn up, a bit of a framework. And what we can see is obviously we got the dive into the lows at $34,250. And for a few weeks, we were just chopping around here, no real activity. We got the bearish engulfing off of the third touch of this trend line. We had 1, 2, 3, the bearish engulfing, and I caught this short down here, but we were swiftly taken back up off of the lows and now actually broken out of this trend line completely. So this is a full breakout of a descending trend line off support. So from a bullish perspective, we've got a few ticks in the boxes, and it does look quite promising. And that being said, now if we're going to look at it from a bullish perspective quickly, we can see that we've got our low, we've got our high, which is not confirmed just yet. So naturally, we'd be expecting a higher low and then into a higher high. Okay, so an A, B, C, D. We can now align, we can look for some potential alignments using a fib tool. If we map it to where it is now, you don't really have too much extensions to the upside, but if we push it up and we align the negative 27 extension, this correlates nicely with a potential wick higher up into, say, 43,000, print a higher high, and then fall back down into a higher low. That being said, also, we can look for that C wave retracement down at the 61.8, which also aligns with the previous higher low here. Okay? Now, if we were to also use that same perspective of trying to find where this new high is going to be, which could be the catalyst for a lower high to print and then fall down on this larger structure, what we can do is we can see that if we now take off of, we add all of these drawings on, so we're still now naturally looking for this lower high to form on this A, B, C down into D, or we can also correlate at the same time and look for the A, B, down into C, up into D. Okay, so it's the same thing at the moment. It's in the middle. It's anyone's game. We don't really know what's going to happen. However, I am favoring another swing down into the lows once more. I feel like there's more confluence and stronger reasoning behind one more swing lower than for that higher low up into the higher high to form, and we continue this run. And the reason for that is, with so much bullish sentiment in the markets, that's already a key sign that this may not be it yet. You kind of want to hope that everyone's saying the opposite and then doing the opposite. So, reason for the shorts is we're coming up into this daily level of resistance, which is the prior inside swing low here. And we can push this across. It got broken and it wasn't retested up until yesterday's candle. And we've got a decent closure just up below it, and price is just consolidating. We can align that then with the 78.6 retracement of the fib from A to B and now up into C. So 78.6 is the strongest retracement in my mind, and it's not necessarily something I want to be fighting with. So that's why that's probably my strongest argument to why I don't think we're out of the woods yet, is just this retracement lining up with such clean structure, and then that massive momentum up into the highs. Okay, so it's just kind of, to me, yelling out trap. To stack further onto that confluence, we can also look, if we were to get a swing down from C down to D, we've got the 27 extension of the fib tool aligning perfectly with our 30k region down here. Okay, so from C down to D, 30,000 on that level. We've got the extension from the 78.6 retracement, which, coming from a 78.6, isn't too far-fetched at all. If anything, it's the easiest setup to predict, because you're retracing so deeply, but you don't have much to fall beyond the lows. Okay, then what we can also do is that if we jump back to the weekly real quick, you guys know that I'm expecting a liquidation of the 30k region down lower, just to take out any of the buy stops sitting below here from people that got in and placed their stops there. So jumping to the daily, if we can map this one onto the daily there. Okay, so we've got this little range here that we can play with. Okay, this is anywhere where I'm expecting price to come down, spike into. We can go from the 78.6 down into the 61.8 extension. So I'll clear this off and then throw a box tool. There's no reason why price can't come down, spike into this region, really liquidate this level before then starting that massive move up. We would have had 1, 2, 3 big drives into the lows, caught everybody on the wrong side multiple times. Everyone's going to be scared down here because we've broken the 30k level. We're hit 25, massive psychological level down here. Okay, and then I believe we'd start that big rally back up just after another liquidation. We know crypto markets are kind of crazy. Okay, so I don't want to fight that 78.6. Looking down at the finer details, I've got to jump over to this chart, my intraday kind of thing. So we've got on the daily, let me hide this, we've got the weekly. So I've mapped on the prior week's low and high, and then we broke back above it. So now I've mapped the week before that high as like a kind of a target, if you will. Daily, we got that break snap through there, and then 4 hour. That's where the real analysis kind of starts. So I'll bring this back, and what we can see is that we've been pushing our way up. We've had a big range here. We had the range here, which I was short from 39, and I was wanting to hold it down to 35.5, but we didn't actually get that. We stalled at this price swing low, and with so many rejections down, that was the key to me, especially after this bullish engulfing. I don't want to be in this position anymore. The market's telling me it's not going down further, so I cashed out, and then price quickly went back straight into the highs, which was quite nice to see. Didn't actually capitalize on this myself, but congratulations on whoever did. So looking for that higher high now. Okay, so what we can see straight off the bat is we've got open structure, we've got right shoulder, and we've got a liquidation. So we've got 3 regions where we may find this intraday high, which will make up the larger picture and the details there. So anywhere really within this region, okay, from the open structure and up to the liquidation, is where we may form that daily lower high, the lower swing high. Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for is, now that we've breached above this open structure here, we've broken above and then tested it as support a few times, and especially this one candle here, I'm not too keen on this level anymore. I think we've invalidated it. So my next level is waiting for that right shoulder up here. I want to see price come up into the region, and then we may get that move to the downside. Okay, so obviously we've got our lows, highs, higher lows, higher highs. Naturally, we're going to expect price to come down and make a higher low or sink through the floor, because the higher time frames will kick in at that point. So I'm interested in this short from around 42,500, you know, just to account for any spikes into the highs. Or if price does breach this level, then we can probably expect to see it come up into 43,500. Call it 43,750 to account for the liquidations, or the 44 level as well, 44,000 as well. So if I were to jump to the intraday now, there's really not much going on. I was tracking this level this morning to see if we were going to get some form of a break below this range and then a retest to get short, but we didn't. We actually just manipulated the lows and then now been pushing higher. So all eyes on Asia high, which started the consolidation for pretty much all of today, and then New York came in, took out the highs of in here, took out the lows of in here, and now we're back within this range. So ideally what I want to see is price take out all of these highs, but then also tap into that right shoulder level from the 4 hour before we start seeing those reversals down, potentially into some minor intraday inflection points of the New York highs down here, or first target really being there at about 41k. So we just need to, on the intraday perspective, we really need more confirmation, more development at the moment. There's not too much going on, but H4 looking for a higher high to sell into a higher low. First target being 39,000, second target being 36,500. From a more macro picture, do we form a lower high here? Do we form a lower high and then swing all the way down into 30k? Or do we breach back above and then retest and continue higher and push this up into the 50k levels? Potentially back on the weekly. Up to here. Because if we sustain this on tomorrow night's closure, I think we're really going to see $53,000 hit again. And that'll be my first upside target. But it's all kind of riding on the 78.6, and there's reasons both ways at the moment. However, I am favoring the bearish swing from 42,000 into 26,000. So, like always, we'll continue to track it as price moves on. But I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.